for, not just be a good husband or a good father, but a good person in general. So my writing also comes from there. You know, I'm greatly inspired by my family right now because I see things that go on every day, and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing my children develop and, you know, start trying to make sounds or learning how to walk or moving and stuff like that. So there's a lot of inspiration around that. And then see my wife, you know, do what she does. She's amazing, incredible artist, you know. Yeah, so I'm very, very grounded by my family. Obviously, my dad and my mom, my brother, my sister, my in-laws, and everybody around me. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So basically, right, we're going to focus on Pendulum right now.
Pendulum. Tung, tung,
Yeah.
tung, tung, tung.
A little bird told me. I don't want to say who the little bird is because I don't slap me from the guy. Let me tell you. So the first place you performed songs from Pendulum, right,
Yeah.
was when you were working with alongside your wife, you know,
Yeah.
creating art and
Yeah.
creating music.
Yeah.
Now you see, there's an infusion of art and music, especially when it's just sound. There's something
True.
about good sound and art, right? That they just go hand in hand. Like you can't take that away. Now, what's the future for that type of industry? Are you going to be delving into that more? You know, where you have timeless music? Because I can say, if I do say so myself,
Yeah.
your music is timeless
Yeah.
because it's something that will stand the test of time. Are we going to be seeing more of that? You know, you delving into the art space with your music and you know, bringing it together.
Yeah, definitely collaboration. I've already started collaborating, you know, obviously with my wife now. Some of the artworks I've done in the past have been created by my wife. But now we are getting on stage together. You know, with Pendulum, we started, you know, with Pendulum chasing that feeling, having people in the room, and then creating this music while she was painting, and, you know, like a 2-hour show, like almost like a live therapy session where people can just come decongest because we all go through it. And not every time you want to hear, you want to dance. Sometimes you just want to calm and just sit down and just relax. You know, there's time for everything. So definitely a lot of collaborations in the future. But also, I know I'm here for a very long time. And just like wine ages the years, you know. So whatever it is that you're listening to right now definitely will get better in the next year and 5 years and 10 years from now. So, you know, I still have a lot of things to say. I'm a storyteller by default. So, and there are stories all around. And I'm not just the only storyteller in my family. My wife is also a writer and she's a storyteller. So it's around me. I can be inspired by literally anything. So definitely looking forward to collaborating with a lot of artists, not just painters, you know, also singers, producers.
Right.
As long as we respect each other's crafts and we have the same goal in terms of like making music. Definitely looking forward to that.
Okay. So I need to know also, like, what are the major challenges or problems you face ever since you ventured into music? I want to know that.
Okay. Well, because of the style of music that I make, is not, you know, Afropop. You know, so the problem with the industry here is that everybody thinks the industry just is around Afropop. Meanwhile, you have genres. You have gospel, you have jazz, you have R&B, but those other subgenres are not allowed to thrive because of what everybody is paying attention to. Also, you know, not to put anybody on blast, but some people rather play some popping people on the radio or whatever it is that they are doing, you know, because, you know, that is what everybody wants or they think that they want. But then outside Nigeria, there's a structure. You hear country music, you hear R&B, you have different. Everybody is doing well on their own space because you make music for different times. You know, there's a time I want to dance. Yeah, I can listen to Wizkid and listen to Davido, definitely. But there's a time I want to just keep calm, and we can't all make that kind of music.
Pendulum.
And we listen to Pendulum, so we should be allowed to express ourselves. As you know, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer. But I decided that, you know what, I want to play the piano, I want to play the guitar, and I should be able to do that without being told that the industry will not accept me for what I do. You know. You have to get to a place of not sending, if I can use that.
Don't you think that's a problem of structure where...
we don't have a structure. And you know, you see a label, go and check out label structure and the music that every artist is releasing is the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing because they will tell you that this is what is paying. And there's no lie. It is obviously what is paying because it's what everybody is pushing their attention to. But then I want to make this kind of music because I also understand that people are going through things. People are depressed. People are not happy. People are frustrated, you know. people have anxiety, people have panic attacks. And you can't play a high beat 140 BPM song for them to feel better. It might just be a piano that they want
It
to
might
listen
just
to.
trigger.
Do you understand? And right now, because of the way things are, people that are supposed to be inspired to do things that I'm doing are plotting to do what is
Yeah,
popular, right? And you're supposed to have people that would take this up to, and that's why I'm decided to just do what I'm doing. Definitely, I'm collaborating with pop artists. Oh yeah, I did Rora with Ricardo. Obviously, I was the guy on guitar. I love doing stuff like that, but I also love doing stuff like this. So I should be allowed to and not be judged
Express
for
yourself.
it. Express myself, basically.
All right. So what would you say is the craziest ripple effect of your music that you have ever experienced?
Whew. I think Pendulum. Pendulum. I've heard someone send me a message a while back about a song that I did. It was just piano and vocals, and they were depressed, and they came out of depression and all that. But at Pendulum, there were things that went down that, oh my God, I will share just one with you. There was a lady that spoke that was raped 10 years before that day and has never mentioned it in public before. And understand, I know what it, because I've seen the situation. For you to open your mouth and talk about stuff like that is so deep. And for a decade not to say anything about it. And she was crying. She was weeping. And she was visibly shaking. I had to turn my head from her because I would have just started crying because I understood what she must have been feeling like to be able to express herself. But because of what myself and my wife created with art and music, also with us being vulnerable with our story, she was able to speak. Also, other people that had other issues.
What track did you just finish playing at that time?
Wow. Probably Beautiful Moments, I guess. The show was so beautiful. It was like we're in another world. And, just to see people, and people came to us after the show and said, oh, I started receiving my healing tonight, So even a friend of mine.
How does that make you feel being a creative?
Wow. Well,
because me, I'll be feeling like I'm a doctor. I can't walk. Today I can decide to
music
wear.
actually inspires.
the funny thing, I just feel like I'm a vessel being used. That's all. Okay. It does not get into my head because another person can do this. And God has decided that this is what you should do. So instead of being cocky about it or being braggadocious about it and say, hey, na me. No be me, oh. I can play the guitar, obviously, but God is working through me to touch people. And if this is what I'm supposed to do on this earth, then I think I'm doing it well. That is what I should do, because when you see people's lives being changed and transformed, it's beyond any money that you can make, because you realize that people's destinies are actually changing because of you listening and you doing what you're supposed to do.
Amazing stuff. So we're running out of time, yes, but tell the people where they can find Pendulum, what's up with you, and real quick.
Well, if you, ladies and gentlemen, let me just be anywhere music is being streamed online, music is being downloaded online that is legal, please, you can find Pendulum everywhere. You can find my music. I have 2 albums, 1 live album. I have stuff that you can listen to that will make you feel good, but Pendulum is available on all streaming platforms. I'm Femi.Leye on Instagram, Femileye, one word, on Twitter, Femi.Leye. On TikTok, yes, I'm on TikTok.
Oh, yeah?
Femileye1 on Facebook. Please reach out to me, send me a message, This is not just the music I'm just dropping. Probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be dropping something that sounds like this that will probably exclusively be on my YouTube channel. So you can also follow me on YouTube, subscribe, youtube.com, Femileye, and then you can get a lot of amazing videos and amazing content.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's how we say it's a wrap for Femileye, but before we let you go, we're not even letting you go. Femileye is going to be a guest anchor on the show today.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing Olofofo together and analyzing and breaking down things. But before we even do that, let's have some fun, guys. What you guys think?
Okay.
All right, so we'll be playing a game called 2 Truths and a Lie. So you have to tell us 2 truths. We're going to start with you.
Okay.
2 truths and 1 lie. So we'll have to figure out which one is the lie. Right? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I know what to do. There was a time in my life that I had to go into a bush to become a better guitar player for 2 years, right? There was a time I traveled to Senegal to work with Youssou N'Dour, right? And there was a time I was in the studio with Wizkid.
Oh my goodness, this is hard.
One sounds very believable. I mean.
Yes, you were in this.
No, I know the one that is a lie.
I'm just going to go for it. You were in the studio with Wizkid.
It's a lie.
Yes.
Yes, that's my lie.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
we correct?
All right. That's true. That's true.
Ah, so you didn't come to
Yeah, like you're right.
we're
That's what I'm saying.
correct.
You're
Okay,
correct.
yeah.
I've never been
I
in
know
the-
I've seen your
I've never
tweet
been in the
to send
studio
ago.
with Wizkid. Definitely, I've been in the studio with Yusundo in Dakar, and
You went to
yeah,
the
definitely, I was in the bush for
Tell
2
us
years.
about that.
Yes.
2 years.
So I was I went to a polytechnic. So after my ND, I had to go and do my IT, obviously. But then, sorry, Dad, I was frustrated because I'm a scientist by training, and I was in the lab with petri dishes and all these things. It was so boring. I'm so sorry, scientist, but I couldn't do it. So after a month, I decided to just quit. Thankfully, my uncle was the owner of the company, so I told my dad, just give me the letter at the end. I'm going. So I left. And then when I got home, like, I can't stay here. So I picked up my bag, picked up my guitar, and I went into a bush around Songo. And I stayed for a long time. And it was very close to Winners, but, it wasn't developed at all. Like, if you walk 45 minutes into where I was staying and somebody was killed, you will never find the person. It was that thick. And I was, it was a small chalet there,
Okay.
And there was a small church there that I was playing for. So that was just the only lively thing. But then before you get there, you have to. So I was there for a while, like, honed my skills as a guitarist. There was no electricity, so there was no internet for me. There was absolutely nothing. It was just me with nature for the duration of that time. And
Wow.
yeah.
Amazing.
That's
See
I
the
think
things
probably
you do
that's
for
why I
greatness.
became. You were great.
All right, so let's go.
What am I going? Okay.
Where are you going next? See now, it's going like this.
My favorite food is amala
Okay.
and begiri.
Okay.
Second one, I love mixing fried rice. I'm not going to base it on food right now. I love mixing fried rice and akara.
Okay.
And whiskey. No. David Doe is my favorite artist.
Okay.
You don't mix fried rice with akara. Do
You don't know people. You don't know people.
That is the lie.
You don't know people.
Is that true?
Pick the lie.
That's my lie. I want to just go with that lie.
You don't.
You don't mix fried rice with akara.
What's your first
Lie.
one again?
My favorite food is amala and begiri.
Amala Begri. Davido is not a favorite artist.
David is actually a favorite artist.
And the lie is my favorite food is amala and begiri. I eat amala. Yeah. Akara and fried rice is amazing. Moving on.
In what continent?
It is.
In what
Don't knock it,
continent?
you try it. Try
Oh
it
my
first.
Fried rice and akara.
I
You
swear.
know, I've seen
Can you-
someone eat rice with gari before,
Oh.
like mixed together.
Okay.
Please let us stop.
But you
right
can eat moi moi with fried rice, right? And it's both beans. I mean,
Akara
try
and
it.
fried rice.
I still maintain try
Okay.
it.
No, I
I'm
know.
not
I know.
judging
I
people's
always knew she
weirdness.
was wet. I always knew she was wet. I always knew she was this wet. Okay, so for me, I'm 43 years of age.
Okay.
I'm currently building my house on Banana Island,
Okay.
and I graduated from Babcock University where I studied law.
Okay.
Yep, you're not 43. That's the lie.
And then you graduated from Babcock. So
I know you're not 43.
I would say Banana Island.
Eh? Is that what you said? You're using your eyes outside.
Yes. No. I like to be weird. I gave you guys 2 lies and 1 truth.
Obviously.
I didn't read
I
Banana
know,
Island part.
I know
okay?
that.
Okay.
Except your money is very low.
I'm not buying, no. I'm building.
Building.
I believe.
You are building. To buy land
Lie
alone.
alone. Because
Okay.
anyway, so
Banana
2
Island
lies.
people just
Yes,
reach out
we
there.
lie a
Depends on
lot.
what's going on.
Anyways, like I told you guys, Femileya will be joining us to talk about some very interesting stories. Yes, it's Monday. What do you guys think that we're going to leave you hanging without discussing some of the biggest stories that happened over the weekend? Nah, that's not how we do it out here. So we're going to start with veteran music producer and record label executive Don Jazzy, who took his time to reply to a Twitter user who accused him of his new signee Era Star for sampling Wizkid's song True Love, a track on the award-winning singer's latest album, Made in Lagos. The user tweeted, "What did I just hear? This new Maven girl sampled Sweet One. She not even allowed the song age small. Later, then go open their mouth, say no be Wiz inspired them with the wait." Quoting the tweets, the Maven record boss clarified that Era's song was recorded before the release of Made in Lagos.
Okay, first of all, I just want to admire the way Don Jazzy answered the Twitter user by saying Wizkid is an inspiration, because we all know that Wizkid is actually an inspiration to different type of artists. And I actually remember when we spoke on this table about, what's the name of this guy that called out Wizkid and Burna Boy for copying the song Ginger. And we agreed on this table that fine, there's no song that is actually your own. There are some songs that you listen to that, okay, this thing, it sounds similar, but it's the execution.
Yes, songs are actually
yes,
yours.
with
There's
the
nothing
beat.
like no song.
Yes, but it's the way the artist actually presents it and they execute it that make you know that, okay, this thing is amazing and totally different. Applies to movies too. There's some movies that you watch like, okay, it reminds you of something, but it's the constructive work behind it and the research that will make you like, okay, this thing is different. So I totally don't agree with it, and the fact that okay, she released it before Wizkid. So that's just my take on
But
it.
she recorded it before.
Yeah,
Wizkid.
before Wizkid.
So this is what I would say. Jazzy said something that you people did not say, and probably because I'm a producer, I took. There's a website called Splice where we get samples from. I get samples from Splice
Okay.
also, and it's possible for
Wizkid,
50,000 producers to use the same sample in a song. Now, because a progression sounds the same way does not mean it's the same thing. Does not, but obviously the Twitter user did not know that. You know, it's just a it's like trying to explain an engineering term to a layman. You probably would not understand. It's possible to use one progression for thousands of songs. You know, everybody gets inspiration from everywhere, but I would not agree that the song sounds like Wizkid's True Love, because Wizkid also took the sample from Splice, and we all paid for it. And the royalty, I can take the sample and also create something for someone, you know, and it will sound almost the same. But because Wizkid released his music first, you know, then, you know, say it's for Wizkid. No, probably she even recorded the song 2 years before then, or 3 years before it was released. So
In as much as I admire Don Jazzy a lot, I just don't feel the need for him to reply to every single person. I can remember the Eddies Award when Olamide came out and said every track was a hit back to back. And then he came out, Uncle Olamide, if you want the car, come and take it. That was totally unnecessary if I ask, because let Olamide rant, let him go on and on about it. Now, this Twitter user obviously is not educated like you just educated us about Splice, and anybody who cared to know would have known that it was a sample. Right? So, I just didn't feel the need for him to come out and respond to everything.
Well, it shows his level of
Humility.
humility. Because it's not. If I was the one, I would definitely have ignored it. You know, but then obviously, you know, because I'm like, what's this guy trying to say? He probably doesn't know. And if I reply him, it becomes a whole thing and it goes on Instablog. I really don't want that attention, so I'll probably just let it go.
Because I can't say he's chasing clouds because he has all the clouds.
he has all the
his
clouds
life
he
is
needs.
clouds.
If it was a music journalist that made that, I would probably have replied, because I'm like, oh, okay,
but
you should
just
know
to
better,
troll.
you know,
Yes,
just to
yes.
educate you.
Yeah.
But I also understand what Don Jazzy is doing, like, because he replied him. Any other tweet that comes like that, you already got in your answer.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
it does not sound like this, you know. Everybody's trying to be very, very unique in their creation. And even though we almost, for the most part, get our sounds almost from the same place, you know, it doesn't mean that it sounds the same way, because inspiration is different.
All right. Well done, sir. Mr. Humility.
Thank you.
All right. So we're moving on. BB Nigeria reality TV star, at least season 5. Is he still a star? Kid Wire has taken to social media and admitted to being proud in a question and answer session where he recently had with his fans on his official Instagram page over the weekend. The billionaire's son admitted to allegations that he is a proud person. You know, when somebody asked him that, so why is he so proud? The guy was like, that's the only way that he stays, what's he called now? That he can keep his self-esteem and all that. What's your take on that? Do you think pride has anything to do with your self-respect, your self-esteem, and all of that?
Okay. I wish Afe was on this table when we talked about Kid Wire. When I was saying, this guy is actually proud, she was telling me that he's not proud. He just admitted it with his own mouth right now. I feel like you don't need to be proud to show, to prove your self-esteem. You being proud, actually, to me, shows me that you're kind of insecure about some things in your life, in my perspective, because you don't really need to show everyone that, okay, I've arrived before they know that, okay, you're actually a good person, you are talented, you are like this. So pride is just kind of your insecurity building up.
Pride befalls what? Pride befalls. Pride befalls.
You don't want to say that.
Oh wow. Okay,
Right?
wow.
Yeah, see, I
Wait,
I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
And it's so apt. But then we're in an industry where everybody is trying to build a public persona and a private persona rather than being themselves. Now, if your natural self is being proud, based on what you think you have, definitely there's a problem with your self-esteem. Because you should not be anything based on material things. There's a person in your core, there's a person in your center that should come out. Now, because of the platforms that are out there, everybody's trying to behave a certain way. Or if I behave mean, then people will respect me and fear me. Not necessarily, you know. I know I saw a tweet too about Erica saying like she's the most hated person, you know, almost in that same line, that people don't understand her, you know. If you are yourself, you are yourself. Now, who are you? That's the very important thing. If you are proud, stay with it. If you are humble, stay with it. But at the end of the day, if people are jumping on you for being a certain way, that's on you.
Well, the question is, why do you need to be proud, though?
I know, that's what I'm saying. There is no
it.
need to be. I'm not justifying him being proud. I'm just saying that if that is who you are and who you want to portray, then the attacks will be continuous. But also, the attacks will be continuous is because, you know, they want engagement.
Okay,
And
so for me,
because there's a difference between pride and confidence. We all know that.
oh, yeah, definitely.
so for me personally, I don't see it like it's pride when you are well packaged. A lot of people see your packaging
As pride.
as pride.
Also, yeah.
Now, a lot of people see it as you not settling for less as pride. There are a lot of go-getters that will never go for anything lower than their standard.
True that.
But a lot of people will tell you that you're a proud person because of this. Now, I'll give you a real-life example, something that happened to me on Saturday. I told you I went to a one-year-old party on Saturday, right? So I have like outfits I sell to friends, especially when I'm going to see, I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of friends around. I'm going to probably carry some sneakers, carry some t-shirts. And so I took a few and I was going to, you know, I was marketing, not really mine. So my friends from there like, if you bring any sneaker, did you bring anything? I was like, yeah, there are a few in the car. So we went to the car, somebody wanted to buy something. So as soon as he was trying to price, and I'm like, look, this is the standard price. So I took out 5K. Then he sent the money. How, of course, losing 5K is a lot of money. This period, if you know January, you know that 5,000 is plenty money. So I lost 5K already, and I was already like very upset, but inside. So the guy now asked me, have you seen the money? You did the transfer right there. I said, no, my account officer will confirm. That's why when my friend said, you don't start. You know? I said, guy. He said, oh, in the Lamba on our well, Abi. That was what the guy asked the guy. Now, in the guy, I can't say, see, guy, it don't be Lamba. They just mistake being packaged as Lamba.
Yeah,
because
true.
imagine I tell you my account officer, if you want, on top say they sell t-shirts and they get used account. Imagine someone that didn't know me or didn't have someone to say that. People will be like, oh, nice, that's a nice. I say, if I'm selling pure water, I probably wear suit and tie to sell it.
True.
It's just packaging. It's not pride. It's just give out what you want to receive. So if I want to give out something that I want you to pay for, I want to give it to you the best possible way you can get it. And that's just what it is. And so I agree with Kid Wire that sometimes it helps keep your sanity, your self-esteem, your vibe, the way you want to be perceived. But that's just what the world is
Whether
saying.
you're humble, whether you're proud.
This world, they go
True.
talk.
Do you, man?
You know the story of Kete Kete? All right, so that's how we're going to call it a wrap on Tea Time this morning. We got to go, but trust me, the greatness continues tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Join the conversation on social media with the hashtag Tea Time or Twitter @TV Africa. Remember, you can catch up on our previous episodes, including this one, one and all our exclusive content by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. You can also watch Tea Time on Alto TV and in London on Ben Television. A big thank you goes to my co-anchors. Yes, yeah, I'm officially one of our co-anchors.
Yes.
Yeah, our guest anchor this morning. Big shout out to my life family. And yes, you did a great job, you know, from the performance to the interview.
Thank you so
and
much.
to doing Olofufu with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Any Baby.
Thank
You know I
you.
can't forget you and the entire production team. Thank you for watching Plus TV Africa's Tea Time. My name is Ife Oshinke. Enjoy this one from Family.
Ojúmọ́ re mọ́ wa lónìí o, ojúmọ́ ayọ̀. Ojúmọ́ re mọ́ wa lónìí o, ojúmọ́ ayọ̀. Àìkú baálẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ o yóò máa jẹ́ tiwa. Àìkú baálẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ o yóò máa jẹ́ tiwa. Ojúmọ́ re mọ́ wa lónìí o, ojúmọ́ ayọ̀. Àbàrà tìǹtì. Àbàrà tìǹtì. Ojúmọ́ re mọ́ wa lónìí o, ojúmọ́ ayọ̀. Ojúmọ́ re mọ́ wa lónìí o, ojúmọ́ ayọ̀. Àìkú baálẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ o yóò máa jẹ́ tiwa.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Plus Reports, a compilation of headlines, reports and events that made the news recently. I'm Jacinta Obiuku. We begin with a report geared to awaken Nigerian youths to the challenge of leadership. A citizen-led movement, Fix Politics, has launched the School of Politics, Policy and Governance to enhance the leadership performance in Africa. It is through training young Nigerians. The program is expected to commence on the 1st of March 2021. Aneta Felix captured its virtual launch.
The Fix Policy Initiative has designed an unconventional school. Their aim is to change the structure of political leadership in Nigeria by educating present and future leaders to truly listen and serve as chair of the advisory board of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, SPPG, Obiageli Ezekwesili explains.
The School of Politics, Policy and Governance will be admitting every 6 months some 500 people that will be given this program of 7 thematic areas with more than 52 topics of courses that would enable them to become competent, ethical, and capable leaders. We have designed courses basically that speak to the problems of development in Nigeria and Africa.
The courses will be taught by renowned national and international leaders and academic experts, including organizations like the Hertie School of Governance, Germany, Lagos Business School, and Nexford University.
We have a situation where anyone can get up and say, I'm running for office. They may not have a track record of execution. They may not have a track record of serving anywhere, and they want to run for office. Our desire is to bridge the gap. We want them to run, but we want them to run with understanding. We want them to run with knowledge.
We're trying to bring a paradigm where quality people are the people that run for office on our continent. And so this is the leadership preparation system that we're innovating in Africa.
At the end of the course, participants would implement lessons learned and execute projects that solve problems in their communities.
There's a lot of attention to the center, and we have forgotten what is happening at the community levels. And that is why our students will be coming from the community, and they would also be giving back to the community through different dimensions of capstone community projects.
Fix Politics would grant a full scholarship to the first 500 cohorts in the program. And by December 2023, they aim to have trained 3,000 youths who would constitute Africa's new leadership class and improve public trust, reduce corruption, and form sound economic and social policies. Anetta Felix, Plus TV Africa.
Quite a welcome initiative, as this is hoped to foster deep knowledge of the process of political and economic governance. Over now to the recently celebrated Armed Forces Remembrance Day that holds annually in Nigeria on January 15. And here is the interesting part of the ceremony, the release of white pigeons, which is a norm in marking the day. But interestingly, the president was not completely successful at releasing the ceremonial pigeon birds to fly, a situation that has generated controversies among Nigerians, especially on social media. Plus TV Africa's Mary Chinda has more on what may have led to the refusal of the pigeons to fly out of its cage.
Twitter and all the news media has been awash with the headlines and posts over the refusal of the symbolic pigeon birds, illustrative of peace, to fly off its cage seconds after the President, Muhammadu Buhari, let it out during the commemoration of the Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day. One of the pigeons, when picked up by the President and thrown into the air, flew back into the cage.
Signifying, we can see them, there they go. There they go. Put your hands together if you will, please.
Some Nigerians reacting to this said this was a sign that there is no peace in the country. However, wildlife scientist Dr. Mack says this could be caused by the amateur handling of the pigeon birds.
The feathers are not supposed to be removed. The feathers should not be removed, because removing of the bird feathers is cruelty to the bird. The bird is supposed to be released and they're supposed to fly away. Now, in saner climes, like you mentioned, these birds, we call them homing pigeons. They have the ability to fly back to the house where they were trained, or to the place where they were trained. So when you bring them out to the field and you release to fly into the atmosphere, they are supposed to fly back to the place where they were trained. So the feathers should not be removed as a standard practice.
He condemns the poor management of birds.
The fiasco or debacle that happened yesterday, if you ask me what could have happened that led to the pigeons refusing to fly, it's a very, very simple problem. And if it was an expert that handled, or a knowledgeable person that handled the release of the birds, that fiasco wouldn't have happened. Like I mentioned earlier, these birds, they are homing pigeons. When you release them, they fly back to where they were raised.
He addresses the notion that the alleged removal of the bird's feathers caused the mild drama and gives tips on how the birds can be properly handled.
We have different brands of pigeons. The white dove, or also known as the rock dove or the rock pigeon, is also known as the homing pigeon. Let me tell you something about this. We call them homing pigeons. Anywhere you release them that is outside the home where they were raised, within a 600 miles radius, meaning if I raise them in Lagos here, and I take them to Delta State or to Abuja, and I release them, they will fly back to their home.
Security expert Femi Badebo expresses discontent with the ineffectiveness on the part of the military, which he claimed contributed to the mild drama.
We continue to have the wrong people in the wrong places. When you put a square peg in a round hole, it will not fit. this is, like I said, this is not just about going to buy lovely white pigeons. They look good in the cage, but when it comes to performing, that is when you release them, they fail to perform because they're not, like I said, homing pigeons.
Meanwhile, in other news, Abuja seems not to be the only place where the pigeon birds didn't fly away, as Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State also witnesses the same, as the pigeons refused to fly away but landed on the table where other pigeons were caged. Mary Chinda reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Well, it is funny what the narration some Nigerians gave about these pigeons. I mean, it's okay to have opinion, but it's also good to think about other possible facts, like considering the scientific side to it. There has been mixed reaction by many Nigerians on the potency and motive behind the expected COVID-19 vaccines. Now, as part of strategies to sensitize the public on the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccine, National Primary Health Care Development Agency believes there is a huge role religious bodies can play in information dissemination. Plus TV Africa correspondent Destiny Momo has more details.
Leaders from the Christian Association of Nigeria and Nigeria Interfaith Action Association, which is a Christian Muslim-based partnership group, are in a virtual meeting on a joint effort with National Primary Health Care Development Agency with the aim of dispelling some conspiratory theories surrounding COVID-19 vaccine. The mandate here is to convince these religious leaders with the aim of educating their congregants on the need to accept the harmless vaccine. Founder and president of Vision of Africa, Bishop Sunday Onoha, made it clear that faith leaders need to be informed of the absolute truth surrounding COVID-19 and vaccine immunization so they can educate their congregation.
The essence of this collaboration is to ensure that these faith leaders fully understand the myth, the truth. There are all kinds of myths going on about COVID-19. There are all kinds of things going on in the social media. And these pastors and imams, their members will ask them questions. And we pray that out of this conversation, these leaders will have an answer that we will give to our members.
Professor Oyewale Tomori addressed the truth and myth on COVID-19 in Nigeria on concerns raised about the vaccine.
I don't think no sane government would deliberately give poison to his own people. That's the point I think we want to know. Of course, we pray, and that's why religious leaders are told to pray for their leaders so that they can be sane. If we have been diligent in our prayer for our leaders, and we know that by the grace of God, they will be sane. And if they are sane, they are not going to give anybody poison. And they will not go to do things that will harm their own people.
CAN chairman in Plateau State, Reverend Polycarp Lubo, suggested that medical personnel should do a proper check before the citizens of Nigeria are allowed to use it. Others asked if it will affect our DNA and if NAFDAC has properly scrutinized the vaccine.
In Africa, we are so suspicious that we must be proven beyond reasonable doubt that this vaccine that is coming in must be scientifically proven by our own scientists or medical doctors.
While this engagement is being commended, the floor members are advised to take necessary steps to stay alive. Destiny Momo for Plus TV Africa.
Days after, it was the turn of Muslim leaders who have conveyed the fears of their followers to the experts for clarification. Again, Destiny Momo monitored the webinar organized by National Primary Health Care Development Agency.
Islamic leaders across Nigeria at this virtual meeting organized by National Primary Health Care Development Agency are updated on the introduction and acceptance of COVID-19 vaccine being expected in a couple of weeks. The rationale behind this meeting is not unconnected
with a series of viral videos discouraging the administration of vaccines.
What really is the guidance from you religious leaders on the best way to interact with community members so that they are better aware, so that whatever decisions that they are taking is good not only for their health, but it is also good for their deen.
Some Muslim religious leaders asked pertinent questions based on questions they have been queried about by their followers.
As religious leaders who are going to be selling this whole idea to people, the questions are many, but let me just ask a few so that we'll get the response again. Are these vaccines being chipped? Are they chipped such that once one gets the vaccine, one is constantly under surveillance remotely? These vaccines
tell you that those vaccines are safe because they are made up of mRNA. mRNA do not have reverse transcriptase. Humans, we do not have reverse transcriptase. It's only when you have that protein, that enzyme, reverse transcriptase, that is when the vaccine can change your DNA, can be integrated into the DNA. For instance, HIV has reverse transcriptase. That is why HIV can integrate into the cell and remain with individual forever. That is why up to today, no vaccine has been produced against HIV.
Keen observers posit that questions raised by many attendees are a pointer that more orientation are required to clear skepticism around the potency of the vaccines. Destiny Momo for Plus TV Africa.
Well, you will agree with me that there is a dire need for more awareness. First, that the virus is real, and second, on the efficacy of vaccines. Plus Report returns after this break.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Rivers State, where residents of Bonny local government area have protested to the government house, Port Harcourt, lamenting incessant attacks and killings by pirates on their waterways. Details in this next report.
The protesters, who are mostly youth, say the most recent of the attacks was on January 5 this year, when 2 indigents drowned after pirates attacked their boat. They said despite the multinational companies in the area and launch of Operation Sting by the Rivers State government, there has been no improvement in the security situation in Bonny Island. After a few hours, they were attended to by the Commissioner for Youth Development, where they read their 5-point agenda.
No one is having peace. You don't sleep with your eyes closed any longer on the island. And so we decided to say, okay, let's come and meet our father. That's why he's there. We voted for him. And one of the reasons he promised to give us is security.
We are protesting because of the killings on our waterways. We are tired. See, our elders have been kidnapped for 4 months. No news about them. No issues, no case about them. See, our lives matter to this country.
The key demand is to put
houseboats, security houseboats at strategic points along the Port Harcourt sea routes with an ambulance and with security personnel.
We cannot travel by a public boat. The way we used to travel, we cannot travel like that. People are dying. Our mothers are being raped. Our sisters are being raped.
In his response, the commissioner assured that the message will be delivered. Also, Deputy Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, Yomi Oladimeji, urged members of the public to provide the police with adequate information.
I want to give you an assurance. This thing will get to the governor today. And the governor will liaise with all relevant stakeholders.
If you believe that the information is not safe in the hands of even the OC Marine there, don't hesitate to come straight to headquarters here and inform the Commissioner of Police.
Bonny local government area can only be accessed through the high sea, as the federal government's 37-kilometer bridge, which costs 120 billion naira and is meant to connect the islands to the mainland in Rivers State, is yet to be completed.
Well, we hope the government gets to do the needful. In this next report, a new bill to increase the retirement age of teachers across the country was on Wednesday approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC, and this has triggered reactions among some Nigerians. Take a listen. The bill seeks to increase the retirement age of teachers from 60 to 65 years and also increase the possible years of service from 35 to 40 years. If passed by the National Assembly, it will give legal backing to new measures by the Muhammadu Buhari's administration to enhance teaching in the country. While some opined that the bill will slim the employment opportunities, others argued it will allow the teachers to explore and impact their knowledge more.
It's unfair because these people, they are old already, and I don't see any reason why they should be keeping them longer than that period, actually.
I think they should stick to 60 years. I feel 60 years even too much. 55, you should just go and relax. Let the next generation, take over, give room for the next generation of teachers, lecturers, professors, I don't know. A couple of guests on Plus TV Africa's Breakfast show share their sentiments on the federal government's move.
I want to really hail Mr. President for this decision because I've come here and knocked the presidency, time and time again that they lack tact and strategy in the way they operate. But this is one policy that I will give my 100% nod to. If you look at me right now, I'm 3 years away from 60, and I think all my faculties are as sharp as can be. So somebody to tell me that as a teacher in 3 years I'll be retiring, I'll just be wondering why you would have wasted a major resource. So I think that a lot of teachers are not far from me at 60. They are still waxing strong.
It's an effort in the right direction. I salute it and I commend it. Okay. But I see it as ragtag, a kind of effort to mend something. It is not a policy that is wholesome, that is all-encompassing, that will once and for all, or to a very large extent, address the challenges of the teaching profession in Nigeria.
Apart from increasing the retirement age and years of service, the bill also seeks to introduce bursary award, special rural posting allowances, and other items that will encourage brilliant Nigerians to take to teaching. Different reasons, different opinions. The ball is now in the court of the lawmakers to pass or not to pass the bill. Now to the biggest event in the world this week, the inauguration of U.S. President Joe Biden. Vivian Oguche takes us through the historical underlining of the ceremony.
With the highest voter turnout in more than a century, and in the middle of a pandemic, the presidential race in the U.S. ended with a victory for Joe Biden. Notably, his path to victory was by building the Blue Wall again. flipping red states and practically swinging most battleground states. For the 81,284,000 Americans who voted for Biden, the 20th of January brings to an end a roller coaster ride. Following a promise to heal a fractured nation, President Biden begins the work of uniting the country after being sworn in as the 46th President of the United States on the west front of the Capitol, just 2 weeks after a mob incited by former President Donald Trump stormed the building and tried to overturn the election results based on lies. But this year's inauguration is unlike any other for various reasons. For starters, ousted President Trump is refusing to attend his successor's inauguration, making him the first outgoing president in 152 years to skip the swearing-in ceremony. Instead, the former president and his wife flew to Florida before President Biden took his oath of office, dispensing with the tradition of greeting the incoming president and first lady at the White House and riding with them to the Capitol. But President Biden says he welcomes his predecessor's decision. And perhaps the most startling exception is that more than 25,000 National Guard troops were in place to ensure that the nation's transfer of power can take place peacefully. Equally important, for the first time, a black woman of South Asian descent is sworn in as the vice president.
I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
After decades in politics and 2 previous unsuccessful attempts at the presidency, President Biden, who happens to be only the second Catholic to take office in America, delivers the most important speech of his life.
This is Democracy's Day, a day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy.
The die is cast. Americans, at least those who voted for President Biden, and the world at large, wait with bated breath to see if America becomes truly great again. Vivian Oguche for Plus TV, Africa.
Well, not surprising that a day after it has been catalogued of reversal of policies by the new president. And as a wrap on Plus Reports, let's remind you to follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. I'm Jacinta Obiugu. Thanks for watching.
Okay.